Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Pemko number 369 APK mill finish aluminum meeting style with Pemko Prene insert. So this is a piece of gasketing, very simple. This is a piece of extruded aluminum, the holder, we'll call it the holder, a piece of Pemko Prene, which is a synthetic rubber material, and Pemko uses the name Pemko Prene to describe that synthetic rubber. This will also include a typical flathead screw that will go in this area here, and there would be a countersink, or at least a hole drilled for the head of the insert to be able to slide over and insert. Where would you use this 369? And by the way, it'll be available in different finishes, which we'll touch on in a moment. But anywhere that you would want to install something very petite in its footprint, something that doesn't project out very far, and something that will just make elegant contact. Those applications would include, not be limited to, they call it a meeting style. So they're obviously thinking a pair of doors where you're going to apply them to the edge, but realistically you would mortise them to the edge so that you would have a certain projection of only the Pemko Prene coming right out, okay? You're just going to see something like that coming off the edge of the door. You probably put one in each door if it's a pair, okay? You could install this in windows. If you had, I've got clients with restaurants and they will have windows that will open up. They're really doors, but they're windows. They'll open them up and fold them back. Well, in the winter, they want to close all that down and have some weather stripping. I couldn't really see surface mounting it, but you could, but it's going to have that definite thickness. And speaking of that, let's just take some dimensional properties. The width of the aluminum holder itself is 0.144, the width of the face. The width of the extrusion is 0.394. Then if we were to take just a reasonable estimation on the overall projection, you'd be at about 0.382 overall, 0.382. So, mortising this, the depth of your mortise would of course relate to how far you wanted this coming in. You might sink it a little bit deeper. You're not going to see really much of that aluminum when you mortise it. So some people will say, well, I need dark bronze. Well, or I need some sort of color. Well, if you're going to mortise it, you're really not going to see hardly any of the aluminum. Now, one thing that you could consider doing, and it's not my original idea, there is a manufacturer of weather stripping who does this. You could figure out the size of the screw that comes with this. You could order a longer screw, like a 1.5 long screw. You could then test with some springs that would have a low compression rate, very low compression rate, so that you would then mortise your door or your window or whatever. You would mortise this in. You would put the screw through the holder, your spring, and then you would tighten it to your door. The point of that is, when you wanted to adjust that projection, you could certainly do so. Long term, it's a great idea and it's well worth the work. I don't have springs to suggest to you. An industrial hardware supply would be who you would talk to or look to for that. But the classic situation with pairs of doors, every time I walk into the front doors of a church, I'm always seeing the doors and they've come together at the top and then there's a widening margin going down. Well, now they're hitting. And over time, now the astragals have been damaged, the weather stripping that's there. And not mitigating it is the problem. The point of the matter is fixing the doors not hanging straight is what needs to be done. But it's also nice to be able to take that projection of that weather stripping and move it back and forth a little bit. So you could consider taking this and then hacking it to that level to make it even more capable for your application. You can install this really in any place where you needed to have some sort of contact with the face of this. So don't be limited by just my concepts of where you would install it. Anywhere. It's a small piece of aluminum with an insert. Okay. They do make larger versions of these as well. I've put something like this down onto the top of a pickup truck cap. Then I would then put that on the pickup truck bed just to help prevent rain from coming in. You could put this to the underside of anything. you know, any way that you'd like it. You could mortise it to the face of, you could mortise this to the jamb as well. If you wanted to have this in your jamb and your door would make contact with it, you'd have it quite mortised, but anything's really possible. Okay, so let's switch to the screen view and take a look at some supporting documentation. Okay, now here is our item that we're looking at. Okay, some dimensional properties down here listed below. This is listed in the site from 2-foot to 8-foot lengths. You can really order any length that you want, probably up to 16 feet, just when you get longer. You know, longer than 3 foot starts to impact the cost to ship material, so be mindful of that. This underscore means it's available. This underscore is the area in which you insert the finish code. This is A for mill aluminum, and we're going to talk about the different finishes. There's a printable cut sheet here. It's just a copy of that dimensional drawing that's there. Now, the link here to the manufacturer's page, that will allow us to review not only all of the Pemko products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. And it's in that full product catalog where we are going to be able to look at the 369, its other finishes, and then, of course, its sister products. So 369, I'm just doing a find function on the keyboard for 369. And we'll get to it eventually. There we go. Page 175. So we're doing a PK, 369 PK. Okay. And other finishes that are available are the A, the D, and the G, which is mill aluminum. D for dark bronze and G for gold. The dark bronze and the gold are anodized finishes. I bet Pemko can do this also in a black suede powder coat, probably white as well. Powder coating, and the powder coating is a much more commonplace process now in the year 2020 than it ever has been in door hardware, regarding weather stripping, most certainly, that I'm aware of in the last 30 years. Other sister products are here as well, but what you'll really find are different inserts. A pile, that'd be a very soft pile. Pemko Prene, that's silicone. Silicone would be advantageous if you had extremely high temperatures. There is a greater projection of pile. These triple fins. Then you have a vinyl. I would avoid vinyl at all, by all means, because it's going to perform quite poorly when it comes to exposure to ultraviolet. Daylight will degrade that. I talked about some wider items, wider concepts. Here they are. Okay. 1 3/4, that would be for the bottom of your door. Or if you're trying to pick up some room between two doors. But you get the picture. There's other ideas that are here as well in terms of these meeting styles. Okay. Let's wrap up this video on camera. Now, in conclusion, the name Pemko is quite synonymous with all things weather stripping related. Perhaps not all things, but when it comes to availability, diversity of product line, just sheer volume of choices, you're probably going to want to review their product catalog, because there is no single manufacturer that has that total quantity of line items. So if you're looking for solutions, Pemko would be a great place to start. If you're looking for specialty solutions, there would certainly be other manufacturers that might come into play. But in terms of hitting all of the bases pretty well, Pemko has you covered. Any questions on the 369 APK? And by the way, if you have need for a custom length, order the next longest piece or pieces and indicate in the comment field the length that you would like for us to cut the material back to. This is just aluminum. You know, a carbide tooth miter box saw is going to make easy work of this. But if you don't want to go through the effort of cutting it, the factory has to cut it anyway. Order the next longest piece, indicate that cut length in the comment field, and that's what we'll ask them to ship it out at. Okay. Any questions on the 369 APK or any other Pemko product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.